Henri Lévy, welcome as always. Tell us what do you think, looking at this year after October 7th, for you, what is the big lesson?
The main lesson after 1 year, alas, Farid, is that Israel is alone to mourn and to grieve, alone to fight, and alone to win. When you Americans did retaliate against September 11, there was a great coalition around you. When we French did retaliate after Bataclan, after Charlie Hebdo, in Mosul and in Raqqa, there was a great coalition around us to support. Around Israel, there is no coalition. There are allies like France or America who blackmail, who warn, who ask for compromise, for whatever. There is not a real coalition. There is solitude of Israel. This is, after 1 year, alas, the bitter lesson which I retain from the whole sequence.
Henri, that people say that the reason the United States or France has put pressure on Israel is that they feel that Israel's goal, say the complete destruction of Hamas or Hezbollah, is unrealistic and, more importantly, can only be achieved at great cost to the civilian populations in Gaza and southern Lebanon, which will produce more terrorists than it kills. Is that a fair way to think about it?
My dear Farid, I have the privilege of age, the dark privilege of age. I covered a lot of wars. I covered a lot. I was in many battlefields in my life. I was in Somalia. I was in Afghanistan. I was in many places. I never saw an army doing as much, trying as much as the Israeli army in order to avoid too many casualties. This is the reality of the battlefield. We French in Mosul, we did not take so many precautions. You Americans in Kabul and in Mazar-i-Sharif in 2001, same. Today, Israel takes precautions which I never saw any other army in the world involved in such a war taking. This is the true reality. Now, of course, too many casualties. Of course, it is heartbreaking. Of course, every day when I wake up, when I look at my phone, the news from Gaza and from the civilian casualties, I am depressed. But you must know that IDF does all that they can. Call for evacuation, warnings. Did you see any army warning before striking? Even on the strategical or tactical point of view, it's nearly absurd. But they do that. They alert, they warn, they announce the strike few hours, sometimes few days before, in order to permit as many civilians as possible to quit. And the Hamas in Gaza and the Hezbollah in Lebanon prevent.
What do you say, Henri, to those who say, well, the backdrop but in Gaza is that Israel has been occupying the Palestinian people, occupying these lands in the West Bank, and of course Gaza is more complicated, but still Israel has control for 56 years, and you can't forget that context.
This story of context is one of the biggest bullshit I heard since long. There is no context for what happened in October 7. This extent of savagery, of cruelty, women raped and killed at the same time, entire families taken like cattle, like prey, like in antique Roma. There is no context explaining that. No context, number one. Number two, you can think whatever you want about what happens in the West Bank. Nothing to do with, nothing comparable to Gaza. Gaza was not occupied since 50 years. There was not even a synagogue in Gaza. The blockade by the Israelis of Gaza was for military devices or devices allowing to make military weapons. So no occupation, all that is excuse of crime.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Djobnik signing off.